Brian Schwab, happy Friday Eve, guys. What is the easiest way to learn dilution ratios?
Well, it's kind of basic subtraction.
It's basic subtraction, but it's also something that can be done on a very minimal level with basically... You could take like some 32-ounce spray bottles, have a dilution ratio kind of thing on there built in, and that's kind of like a good way to understand how things work, right? So if it's 3 to 1, you have 3 parts something to 1 part something, so it means it's 4 parts total, technically. So if it's 3 to 1,
break it into fourths.
Then you
break your ounces into fourths.
Yeah, then break your ounces into
fourths. Or your milliliters or whatever you're doing.
That or set a you just have a unit of measurement is another any unit of measurement, right? Whether it's like a cup, right? So if something is 3 to 1 and you have 1 cup there,
which is 8 ounces,
1 cup, then you go 1, 2, 3, and then you take your cup and you add the product and you go bam, you've hit your dilution ratio.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way to do it.
It's like 3 to 1 is 4 quarters is literally how I've always kind of played it out to guys. So you've got your 4 quarters, literally like money, right? Combined, they equal 100.
Yeah.
Split up, they're 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents. So if it's 1 to 1, then you just split it in half. It's 250 cents pieces on either side. If it's 3 to 1, you take your 3 quarters over one side. That's your water amount. This is your chemical amount.
Yeah.
Once guys can visually break it down in that process, they go, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
10 to 1 you can use with dimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's literally once you learn, you're like, oh, I get it. Okay. I can make this work a little better. And as you grow, you get to that point. So I think the hard part is people hear 256 to 1 with O&R, and they don't understand that dilution ratio.
Yeah, and 256 it's just really easy, just because the cap is built in, the measuring tool is built into the product. I would say when it comes to like IK sprayers and things like that, that's where it can get a little bit confusing. But once you do the measurement once, right? So if you do take a measuring tool or anything like that to measure out the product difference, and you can see the product within the container, right? You'll learn the first time. You'll say, okay, so if I add only this much product to this much water, you'll remember that for the next time. And before you know it, you're just going to start eyeballing it, and you're going to be okay. Like, for example, I can eyeball the O&R being put into 4 gallons of water by the color of the liquid. And I say, okay, I'm like, that's about 256 to 1. Whereas I'm like, oh, that's clay lube. I've done too much.
Oh, that's very
exactly.
blue.
And that's just comes with doing it enough. I had a guy,
experience.
I remember I came into a shop, gosh, this would have been 18 years ago, 17 years ago. I went into a shop that I had just started working at. And walked in, and they had their dilution ratios on the board. Mm-hmm. And I walked up to it, and I was looking at the products and their dilution ratios. And I was like, they had their interior dressing at like 150 to 1. Mm. And the product they were using, I knew, was only a 10 to 1 dilution.
Yeah.
And it was looking at it and going like, and then the numbers that they had written, like how to break it down, was so wrong that I had to just stop. I took that off the board, and I took it off and I redid it.
This is irresponsible.
It was like, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And what we're doing is we're actually, and the reason that the last guy wasn't there anymore was because cars weren't coming out properly. Cars weren't looking right because they weren't using the right products. They weren't using the right dilution. So the other thing was, because the people weren't trained on how to use dilutions properly, they were overusing product. They were trying to hand mix everything. I got on the phone and I called Tom at Buff Bright, which is MVP previous. I called him and had him bring down a dilution tool, very similar to the Chemtrol system by PNS.
Yeah.
Brought that in, put that in the shop. It was, I think at the time what Tom was selling was maybe $100. But I put that in and I said, we're going to make that $100 back just in the amount of lost product that you guys have been going through because everybody's been working on their own thing. So dilution, if it's not something, you want to be able to worry about or have to deal with, if you have your own shop, heck, you can even have it in your garage. It automatically dilutes. You can literally put these little filters in based on the dilution. 4-1, 10-1, 5-1, 256. We have 256-1 on our dilution machine here at the Rag Company.
If you do the purchasing for your business, you're going to know your dilution.
And this way, the guys, when their bottle's empty, they just walk up, they go, oh, I need O&R, oh, I need interior dressing, oh, I need this, and boom, fill it right up there, comes in perfectly mixed. So something to also look out for is if you're in a shop, really spend the money, do that so that you don't have to worry about all this all the time.